We need to talk a bit about your research project and all that goes into it. And you need to be aware of time management. It looks like you have a lot of time to do this, but in reality, you don't. So, first off, what is research anyway? Or, if I didn't search the first time, how can I redo it? Well, the dictionary defines research as systematic investigation or inquiry aimed at contributing to the knowledge of a theory, topic, etc., by careful consideration, observation, or study of a subject. In later use, also, original critical or scientific investigation carried out under the auspices of academic or other institution. Well, good for the dictionary. So I repeat, what is research? Now, simply put, research is a process, and it is a formal process of definitively discovering the answer to a question. Now, that question is your research question. So, why do we research? Or, who cares anyway? Well, research is conducted in order to learn more about the world, how it works, what's in it, why things work the way they do, why people do what they do, why something was written or said, anything anyone was ever curious about, what it all might mean, even. What should I research? Or just tell me what to write. I will not tell you what to research. You need to find something that interests you within the topic of literature. Now, literature itself is a fairly general topic, and I've given you some guidelines in the assignment. Look over those again and find something. I'll help guide you, but I will not tell you exactly what you should do. You should ask a question that you genuinely do not know the answer to, and you want to know the answer. When you have an idea of what general topic under literature that you wish to research, then write your research question. Okay, so how do I do this, right? Well, once your topic's approved, go to the library or use the library's electronic resources, which can easily be found from my.epcc.edu. Then click on Services, look for Instructional Services, and find the word Libraries. Click there and use the library services. You can use either the physical library or the electronic EPCC resources. Either one's fine. Now, you need to look for trustworthy sources. We talked about those a lot in 1301. But if you don't remember, they're things like academic journals and primary sources, material produced by experts in their field, and you need to take notes on those sources. Now, another word on those trustworthy sources. In addition to academic journals and the primary sources, you might also look for magazines that are specific to the field. Often, literature magazines are not journals. They're not academically reviewed. They're not peer reviewed, but they make for decent sources. You might also look for other, as we talked about in last semester, trustworthy sources. Books on the subject printed by a university press, for instance. Now, material produced by experts in their field is a fairly general thing, but you'll find it. Just think about all we talked about in 1301. If you have questions about whether something is trustworthy or not, feel free to email me. I'll help you. Take notes on all your sources. You need to annotate the bibliographic information first. That's who wrote it, where it was published, when it was published, what pages it's on. You need to exactly copy anything and everything you think makes a good quotation. You also need evidence. Now, I've put that in a larger font for a reason. Take notes on evidence. When you're researching anything that helps your answer is evidence. Anything that backs up your thesis is evidence. You also take notes on the sources that just plain interest you, anything that you find interesting. It can be a bit tangential, but beware the rabbit hole. It's very easy in a research project to start going down one tunnel after another, and before you know it, you're up to your eyes in research and you've lost sight of the main project. When you look at the things that are tangentially related, ask yourself, is it directly related to my main topic? Even if it's a tangent, that's okay. But if it's more than one step away from the main topic, then it probably is best left for another research time or for your own interests, but not for this project. Take more notes than you think you need. You're going to have to take a lot of notes if you're going to do this right, because you're producing an original piece of work regarding literature. That's going to require a lot of research, and research requires notes. Okay, so when should I begin researching? As soon as I tell you your topic is approved, which you will know your topic's approved if you have a grade on topic approval. Okay? If you turned in your topic approval and I give you feedback that says anything about this is lacking this, it's to this, it's whatever, anything except this is good, go, you will receive a grade less than full. Not a 0, but less than full points. If you see that you have less than full points, you're going to need to modify your proposal as I have suggested and resubmit it. And then we'll keep doing that until I say this is good, start. Once I say that and you've got full points, start researching. Because it's a very long process. Okay, so what do I do now that I've done the research? Check to make sure you actually answered the question you posed. Sometimes those rabbit holes wind up answering questions that we didn't pose. Now, if you didn't, there are a couple of things you can do here. Find out if you answered a different question. If so, change your research question. Get it approved with me and change your research question. If you can't change your research question or you didn't actually answer anything, then you need to get back to researching and refocus your efforts on your main question. That's where, if not, go back, do more research. If you have, compile the research so you can begin to structure your final product. You organize your research by subtopic, strength, and establish how the research all fits together to form a coherent presentation of what the research has shown you. It is important that you begin writing the paper right when the research is still fresh in your mind. I recognize that the annotated bibliography is due before the paper. That's all right. That doesn't mean you should write the annotated bib and then start the paper. Start the paper while the research is fresh in your mind. So when's it due? Well, all due dates can be found on your syllabus, on our Blackboard calendar, and in the assignment details. You should have no difficulty finding when all the parts are due. Remember that the topic approval is due first, then the annotated bibliography, and finally the research itself. Now, how do I go about managing my time? This is a very important question. I'm glad you asked. You need to take small steps. This means you work in small batches every day. Keep yourself organized. Take notes Use note cards if you can. Use different sections of a notebook, whatever works for you to stay organized. You've got to keep your notes neat and organized, or they're not going to be of much use to you. And at the end of one research session, prepare your focus for the next session. You need to review your research question and ensure that you are still focused every single session. That will help you stay on task and keep yourself moving forward. Every day, you should work 15 to 30 minutes on this project. Now, what I mean by that is not every day that you work, you should work 15 to 30 minutes. What I mean is every day until you turn it in, you should work for 15 to 30 minutes on this project. This includes Saturdays and Sundays and days that you're sick and days that you don't want to. Now, don't do more than 4 15 to 30 minute bursts every day. And certainly don't do less. Okay, so this means you should work for a grand total of an hour to 2 hours every day, but only in short bursts. This keeps your energy level up and keeps you focused on the project. I know you have other classes. I know you have other homework. Fit it all in. Use a calendar or a schedule to manage your time. Will you help me? Will I help you? Of course I will help you. You let me know what you need, and I'll do my best to help you with it. Now, this includes software issues, research guidance, advice, rounding up sources that you can't find, validating your sources, even editing and proofreading. I will not, however, write the damn thing for you. You've got to write the paper yourself. Well, you scare me. You're mean, you're ugly, you're fat, or whatever. So where else can I get help? Hey, no problem. You do not have to come to me. The Writing Center is located in the A building, room 1425, and they'll help with proofreading and editing. If you can't get to the Writing Center physically, you can email them. If you don't still have their email address from last semester, ask me, and I'm happy to find it for you. The librarians at both the Circ desk and the research desk will help you find your sources and validate them. And the ACS labs will help you with most software issues. If you can't come into campus, you can call EPCC IT and ask for help. Now, last question. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Well, it turns out that New York State wildlife expert Richard Thomas found that a woodchuck could, and does, chuck around 35 cubic feet of dirt in the course of digging a burrow. Thomas reasoned that if a woodchuck could chuck wood, he would chuck an amount equivalent to the weight of the dirt, or about 700 pounds. Pretty impressive for a little woodchuck. How do I know all this? Because I did a little bit of research on woodchucks and found out the answer. Take a little break, take a breather, and then prepare for the next video.